Hey everybody, it's Dr. Troy here from Vancouver, Washington. I'm here with Mike. He's from Triad Aer, and I came across this technology about 25 years ago. And right here, I have this unit right here. And I don't know what happened to it, but I came across Mike one day at a trade show, and I said, wow, you've got that technology? And he showed me his demo. So I wanted to bring that demo to you. So if you're suffering from allergies, you've got stuffiness in your nose, headaches, asthma, you think you're allergic to pollen, you have animals in your house, dust mites, these are all things that this product can help with. So I'm super excited to have Mike here demonstrate and talk about his product. So Mike, can you tell our listeners a little bit
good to see you again.
Good to see you. Can you tell us a little bit about your product?
What makes this product unique is we do build on these earlier models that people have seen. It's the same type of technology, except we now have 5 proven technologies in this machine. 4 technologies actually go into your environment, clean the environment, get rid of odors, get rid of pollen, bacteria, viruses, where they reside, in the air and on surfaces. Okay, 2 other technologies will actually statically charge the air. Imagine that you take a balloon, you rub it against your head, and it sticks.
Yeah.
We can make all those particles that you see floating in the dust and the sunlight in your house, make all those stick to each other and fall out of your environment so you don't react to it. Now, I'm not only going to tell you that, I'm actually going to show you how
that's what I was excited for people to see.
Yeah, it's proactive. It's most important to remember, just like when you're in your house and you cook bacon or fish or something, it goes to the whole house. This technology will go any place that odor can get to, any place the bacteria can get to, and eliminate it where it's at. So if you had a smell in the carpet, it'll go into that carpet and get rid of that smell. If you moved into a house that a smoker had, this would literally take the smoke, tar, and nicotine out of the walls. Wow. That's how effective it is. So rather than just do it, let me just show you exactly how it works. Now, the first thing I want to do is to do some odors. Now, I've shown you this odor before, so you know it. So what I want to do something's a little bit different. I want to get somebody up here that's never seen this part of the demonstration. We have Courtney here today. Courtney, can you come up just a minute?
Yes.
Courtney, let me ask you something. Do you have any pets or animals?
I do.
What do you have?
I have a dog.
You have a dog.
Yes.
Is your dog well behaved or sometimes leaves little puddles here and there?
Sometimes little puddles.
Little puddles,
yes.
Yeah. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to recreate one of those little puddles for you right now. I'm going to use some ammonia. I'm going to show you how effective this is at getting rid of odors and smells. What I'm going to ask you to do for me is make sure I'm not fooling you. There's actually ammonia. So take a good whiff of that, if you would, please.
Oh.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this on front of the machine just like this, like that. And I'll turn it away so you don't have to breathe, okay? Now do notice that that is pushing out. The great thing about our machine, we have 5 fan speeds. I only have it on 3 right now, so I'm not running it real high. And I can actually scale it to whatever room. I can go from a mini home of 250 square feet to a whole house 3 stories high, 3,000 square feet. That's one machine can do that. And people ask me all the time, how's it go through walls? I'm going to show that in just a minute. But that's what we got. What it does, it gets rid of the odors and smells. Now, in there, you'll notice, too, I'll pull this out of the way. You'll notice there's a light in there. You see that?
Yes.
That's called photocatalytic oxidation. Now, pay attention to bit testing. No, I'm just kidding. What that is, people have heard of UV light killing germs and bacteria. This is the latest technology. That actually creates a reaction that makes new molecules out of the H2O. They're oxygen and hydrogen molecules, and they literally oxidize bacteria and viruses in the air and on surfaces in your house. We've had numerous tests, and we know that the destruction rate's about 99% in the first 24 hours. Can you imagine how that could protect your home? If you've got viruses, someone comes in with the flu virus, sneezes, and it kills it in the air before it gets to you?
Yes.
That's pretty good, isn't it? Now, now I'm going to open this up just a little bit, show you in the back here. I want to show you a couple more of the technologies. This is a special electrostatic screen. You do not replace this. That's what makes it so effective. You just take this off, dust it, and wash it. But you'll notice inside here, there's the light I was talking about. There's our O3 plate. That's what's going to get rid of the odor. You'll notice there's a little antenna in there. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. And right up here, there's a little red wire. I'll turn it around again. There's a needle point right there. Now, these 2 things are what drive our technology through your house. Here they are in this box right here. This antenna right here puts out a pulse signal, almost like a harmonic frequency. It goes through walls, goes through anything that's not solid metal, solid plastic, solid water. That needle point right there is very important because it actually puts out what's called negative ions. Now, let's go ahead and turn this on. What I want to replicate is the effect of you sitting in your house, you pull back the drapes, you see the sunlight come through, and you see, oh, there's stuff floating in the air. Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
Do you know what most of that is?
No.
80% of it's your dead skin. and pet dander, okay? And as it dries out, mold and algae starts to grow on it. As mold and algae starts to grow, it gets heavier and heavier. Then dust mites, bacteria and viruses, dust mites, these little suckers trap. We now know this causes most asthma and allergies. It's really the dust mite poop. You can imagine how small that is. Well, it gets to go up the top and then it starts to fall back down to the floor. Then you sweep and vacuum, 30% goes back up in the air, and the more it looks like, why did I vacuum today? It didn't do any good. Before we finish that, let me give you my paper towel right here. That's what I want you to do. Take a real good whiff of that now, okay?
Yeah.
Is it gone?
No smell.
Yeah, is it still soaking wet?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you're surprised, aren't you?
I am.
It is
It's
amazing.
great.
I know, I noticed you were a little timid there when you
was.
did that, right? Okay, now you see what we've done. This is clouded up. Biggest question I'm asked, Mike, where do you put this? You put this in the largest room of the house. It's going to diffuse through the house just like the smell of bacon or something else will, except that we have a propellant. I pointed out to you that that little antenna is right there in front of the fan. There's the same antenna. When I turn that antenna on, it puts out a pulse signal that's going to move those molecules very rapidly. Now, you couldn't see it normally. What I'm going to do is turn it off. I'm going to turn it on right now. Watch it, what happens. See everything moving rapidly in the box? Now, all of that stuff is still positively charged. We need to eliminate it. So we're going to throw a negative charge in there. It doesn't affect electronics. It actually makes you feel good. Negative ions, as Dr. Troy will tell you, helps the body fight depression. It's why we go to the beach, go near the waterfall, and we feel better. But notice that it all clears up. Now, people up here ask me all the time, well, Mike, what happens if I open the window? I have allergies. I'm going to turn my smoke back on, and you'll notice the smoke never gets going. See, these machines run 24 hours a day, use almost no power at all, less than 60 watts. You're talking a cost of running about 10 cents.
Amazing.
Dr. Troy, you've heard of those new things you put into the air system. They're great and wonderful, but unfortunately, you have to run your air system. It costs a little more money to do that. The trouble is, too, when you move, these actually run on 110. It actually moves from place to place as you go. You don't move it in your house, but let's say you have an apartment, you move up to a home, you take that with you. And since it's scalable, it doesn't matter if you move from a small apartment of 1,000 square feet to a house of 2,500, this will still do the job for you. Kind of amazing. But notice here, the smoke is not getting up. If I turn off my technology, you'll notice the smoke starts to rise right back up. So what you'll notice with this machine, the first day that this is in, it will start to smell fresh and clean, okay? After about a week, it'll go through all the rest of the rooms, and you'll start to see a lot of dust settling. Tell me the story about your house.
So my house cleaner, I said, hey, we just put this in our house. Just let me know if you notice any change in the dust. So next time she came back, she was asking my wife, hey, have you been dusting the house? Because there's like no dust.
Right.
So I was excited for that.
Exactly. The first week, here's what happens for everybody to understand. The first week, everything that's been floating that you see and don't see is going to amalgamate. It's going to come down. Then when you vacuum it, it's too heavy to float back up. So it'll literally go into your sweep. It'll go into your vacuum and out of your door and out of your airspace. Then while this is continually running, as I'm doing here, it'll just continually knock it down. So you won't have as much dust because you don't always have it going up, coming down. It's just coming down right away. I've talked to many people, and that's why a lot of people have allergies, asthma, might be affected by dust mite feces or something like this, find that there's a lot of relief in their home. They find their home is actually more like being out near a beautiful waterfall or walking in the forest without the
So what are
pollen.
some of the symptoms you see help with this technology?
Well, I've talked to people that have suffered migraines due to dust mites. Dust mite feces, a lot of people don't realize that when they say you're allergic to dust, you're allergic to dust mite feces. Dust mites have no digestive system. They have a protein that actually breaks down the algae, the dead skin, that type of thing. When they poop that out, it's in a little tiny package. When it explodes through moisture, floats up in the air, and there's where everyone gets.
Gotcha.
And then can you imagine how small those are? Those are electron microscopic. There's no filter out there today that can actually filter those things. So even if you did have a big HEPA filter, it would just bring it in and kick it right back into your space.
Gotcha.
What we want to do is to go to where it's at, make it magnetized, become statically charged, and drop. Okay, it takes about a week, and that's where you'll see the difference. You can actually scale this. All of these machines come with remote control. You put them up high, about 4, 5, or 6 feet off the floor, and you can control it with a remote control. Once you set it, just let it run forever. You don't have to worry about it. We do recommend about every 3 months cleaning, and I'll be happy to show you how we do the cleaning.
Okay. So Mike, why don't you take us through the cleaning of this machine?
That's the best part about it, Troy. This is one of the easiest machines to clean. It's very simple to do for yourself. You don't need a technician or anything. All you do is turn the machine around, get to the back, unplug it. You'll notice I'll point right here, there's a little screw that comes out. It's a little Phillips head. After that, you can use a screwdriver, a key, or anything. I'm just using my own key. You place it in here, just go out, push in, Those 3 clips come off just that simple. In the back is this electrostatic screen. You have 2 thumb screws here. Just unscrew these. The screen pulls up just like this. It's very simple. What you'll do with this is you actually vacuum this part off, get other dust particles or anything like that. If there's 3 parts to it, you just easily take and put it in your sink. If you want to use a little cleanser, you can. Just rinse it in some warm water like this, shake it off real good. To dry it, you can use like a hair dryer. You know, it doesn't have to get real close, but you want to make sure it's dry before you put it back in. This plate right here, you can look at it if you see any small crystals or anything on it. This is actually, you just soak this about once a year, take and soak it in a little bit of white vinegar. For about an hour, take it out, dry it off, clean it, make sure it's dry too, and it just slides right back in the slot right here. It's really very simple. Take the filter, put this up. Now, how often do you check? You'll notice it'll get dirtiest the first 30 days because that's when we're making all those little dust particles become heavier. And the reason the screen is here is to keep dust particles out of the machine. These machines, we try to build these to make them run for at least a decade. Okay, so it's not something you'll be replacing every 3 or 4 years. This is the last decision you make on indoor air quality for the next 10 to 15 years. So we make it easy to clean, and in fact, I just put these 2 screws in, put the machine back in place, and plug it in. Away you go. This just snaps right back on. Clip just like this. Put it. There it is. That's how simple it is.
Easy, simple.
Yep. Don't forget to plug it in now. It always works better when it's running.
Good, excellent.
All right.
All right, good.
There we go.
Thank you.
All right. Biggest question I'm always asked, Troy, on these machines is where do I place it in my house? How do I set it up? Well, we make it very simple. Inside, we have a quick reference guide. Where you want to place this in your home is you want to put it 5 feet or higher in the most open area of the house. Not right next to an air duct, but on top of a bookcase, on top of a refrigerator, on top of a china press, a hutch, or something like that. We've got 5 fan speeds here, and I've got a remote control, so I'm going to show you. Those are the fan speeds right here. If you run it on 5, a lot of times you'll actually hear it. Some people tell you, they're like, Dr. Bryan says he loves the white noise. Me, I don't. I run mine on 3 or 4, so you can't hear it. You'll notice these numbers right here. As I go up, it says here, purifier setting must not exceed size of area. You don't set this to the size of the whole house. You set that number actually to the size of the open area you're shooting it into. Most people will never run it more than 500. Let me show you how you set it up. Right here it says set to PCO normal for the first week. We want people to get used to breathing fresh air, okay?
Yeah.
So you just take the purifier setting, press down. You notice as I'm going down, the numbers go smaller and smaller until we hit PCO. That stands for photocatalytic oxidation. That is that wonderful technology coming off that UV light, going into your house, getting rid of germs, bacteria, and viruses, anything organic. Run it that way for the first week. After 1 week, you can go to 250 square feet for an hour if you need it, up to 500. Now, a lot of people ask, well, suppose I have a perfect example. I was in a hotel room a couple weeks ago, and I decided to clean some pork out of a pan. So I put some water in the pan, put it on high, and forgot about it. Drove to the convention center, got halfway there and went, uh-oh. Came back, walked in, fire alarms going off, smoke, I can't even see, everything. So all I did was take the machine, hit the sanitation boost. I did it for just like that for 2 hours, increased the power of it. It ran for 2 hours. When I came back, all the smells were gone. The smell out of my clothes, out of the furniture, out of the sofa. That's a sanitation booth. You run that when you're not going to be in the area because it's actually like a purge. It's like having a whole bunch of one person instead of a bunch of little worker bees going through cleaning everything real fast. And that's so simple. At the end of that time, it will revert back to your original setting, whatever you had it to.
Okay.
Makes it simple. And for those
And they
of
use
us in
these
the
in
high
hospitals, don't they?
They have the technology they do, yes. They've got them, they're putting them everywhere today because even the UV light's used in meat packing plants to kill salmonella. It's used to get rid of pesticides off of vegetables. It's been around for years. They're now talking about putting them in the air systems. But as we talked about before, sometimes in the air system, it gets a little expensive because you got to run it. They charge thousands of dollars. Sometimes they don't explain the technology so people understand it. This makes it very easy because if you do decide to upgrade in homes or apartments or condos, you can easily take this with you, only pulling 110. the power running this, you're only running about 60 watts, so the cost for electricity is about 10 cents a day.
Yeah,
So
amazing.
you don't have any ongoing cost on it, but you do have the benefit of those health benefits, getting rid of the odors, the smells, the bacteria, the virus, and all of that dust that floats in your environment.
Nice.
Like you said, you don't see that much dust in your house
yeah,
anymore.
it's reduced a
Yeah,
lot.
it is. And that if you're not breathing it, you're not reacting to it.
Yeah, yeah.